The title of this talk is Facing the Specter of Divorce, because that's all the very name of this group is a super coalition against divorce. Huh? Um, it's super coalition against divorce. And that's really what we should be doing. That unfortunately, when the when the divorce bill was passed by a very narrow margin in the House of Representatives, now it's been transmitted to the Senate, it was because I'd like to think, I tend to think more than anything else, the lack of credible opposition. You know? Because I have friends in Congress, and they were telling me that the Speaker of the House, to his credit, because he's a good Catholic, he comes from a good Catholic family, his mother goes to church every day, and he himself goes even during the week, tried to delay that bill. I think he succeeded to delay it for 20 days, expecting help from the church, from the bishops, from the pulpit, um, but it didn't come, apparently. Not the way that would have made any difference in Congress. So there was quiet in the Western Front during that day, those days. They were desperately waiting for reinforcements. And it was only the day before the voting that things started moving. I suppose, as far as the church workers were concerned, it was a what do you call this? A panic move to mobilize forces, to demonstrate there, to show
Ang
numbers,
dami.
etc. Too little, too late. Hmm? And so it was passed. And for those of you who know how Congress works, there's a lot of horse trading that happens in those votes, right? You vote for my bill, I support your other bill. And so therefore, if there's any political advantage to a vote that is cast without much political disadvantage, then they do that horse trading. And that lack of concerted effort on the part of the church to object to the divorce bill in the House was what led many of those congressmen to vote the way they did. Afterwards, in the after damage control, the damage control, again, my friends tell me, what they were saying was, well, we thought it was okay with the church. We thought it was okay with the bishops because there was not much noise in the wind up to that vote. So that's what happened. Now, here's my takeaway from that. Why is it that the divorce bill keeps on being filed ever since the 1990s? The first time I appeared in the Senate in a committee hearing, Johnny Ponce Enrile was still very active. I still remember the day when he told me, Father, don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating for divorce. I'm very happy with my wife, Christina, but I'm just here to pick your brains, he said. I always say, when somebody tells me something like that, deep inside, I always say immediately, good luck to you. You know, I was going to pick my brains. Father, he said, if marriage is a contract, then shouldn't it be rescindable by mutual consent like any other contract if there's mutual consent? And of course, he failed to, at that particular moment, to understand a very fundamental property of marriage as a contract. Yes, it's a contract. It comes about in a contractual way. But the very prestation of the contract, the object which is being negotiated and agreed upon, includes in it a clause on rescindability. And that's what we'll have to see now. That by its very nature, therefore, what one is contracting himself in that contract is that this contract will not be rescindable. It's a contract, therefore. Hmm? Nevertheless, that pretension, I'm using this term in a very juridic sense, that pretension behind the proponents of the divorce bill is valid. And that's the reason why it keeps on getting filed and refiled and refiled. And what is that?